right, so welcome to Homecoming, the HBCU podcast, where we focus on the greatness of past and present students. My name is Rose, this is JT, and today we have a very special guest by the name of Prince, who has started the official HBCU Boxing League. I'm not going to get too much into it. I want Prince to tell us like how he came up with this concept and just really where you're from, because you have a very interesting story.
Appreciate it. Thank you guys for having us. First of all, again, my name is Matthew Prince King. Everybody calls me Prince. I'm originally from Greensboro, North Carolina. I graduated from the North Carolina Central University.
Okay.
History. Unfortunately, I did get my master's from North Carolina A&T. They know that. I'm from Greensboro, so that's still family, But I'm the black sheep. My sister and I, we were defects. We actually, where the rest of our family were Aggies. We were.
Wow.
And I'm currently right now finishing my PhD at the University of Virgin Islands.
Nice.
You say all that to say that I'm a big time HBCU advocate because I'm a big time HBCU product. I've been in these HBCU streets for a while now. Luckily, as God will have it, I have been a part of Hall of Famer James Lights Out Tony's management team for the past 2 years. And last year we did his Hall of Fame tour run where we did Atlantic City, New York, LA, and Las Vegas. And in the Las Vegas ceremony, they had canceled the 2020 ceremony and the 2021 ceremony because of COVID. So that year in 2022, they had 3 ceremonies in one night. So I got to see Floyd Mayweather get inducted, Roy Jones get inducted, Miguel Cotto, James Toney, St. John's, and it was a long ceremony. Oh my God, we was in there for like 5 hours. Floyd and Roy were like the headline, so everybody stayed.
Yeah.
And I say that I'm giving it this long little backstory because I was out there in Vegas, and one of my best friends, my boy Jeremy, shout out to him, childhood friend, known Jeremy pretty much my whole life. He's one of the marketing executives at North Carolina A&T. He calls me and he says, "Hey man, I see you out in Las Vegas, and you're with all the fighters." And he proceeds to send me a video of the kids at A&T having an underground fight club. And the thing that took Jeremy and I back so much was the fact that it was so organized. Like it was maybe about 150, 200 kids out there. Everybody was in a circle, had their phones out, had a referee in there.
That's crazy.
So it was him and I was like, wow, these kids, they must look like boxing for them to, go about that. So, do you think you could bring James Toney out to A&T and get him to start a boxing club? And as he's literally saying this to me, I'm looking at 15 world champions. We all outside the hotel just kind of kicking. And immediately I said, bro, I probably can do you a step further. And we probably can do a whole boxing league. And literally it's like when we said that, couldn't even put the genie back into the bottle. So simultaneously, I get off the phone with Jeremy, start talking to the world champs. And at that time, Deion Sanders was huge in the media cycle at what he had going on at Jackson State. So outside of dealing with the kids, which I get to in a second, I think the most blessing opportunity just as a boxer has been the opportunity to listen to these world champions tell their story of retirement. And what happened is I was having a conversation to them about Deion Sanders. We were simultaneously having a conversation about the fact that the Olympics are getting rid of boxing as an Olympic sport. So after 2024, it'll no longer be there. And so the conversation got to, okay, what is going to fill this void within the boxing community from amateur to prize fighting? And so the thing that the boxers were complaining about was once they retire, they don't get pension, they don't get insurance, they aren't unionized, they don't have an association, and more than anything else, a lot of them lose their purpose. And so for me, I was a part of James Toney's team while they were all here negotiating them old man fights. I don't know if for a second, them old man fights had them on the chokehold. Like they had so many people said the old men were trying to get back into the ring. And I was telling them, guys, that's just, I would never want to see my heroes turn themselves into a gimmick. And what I was telling them was, Deion about to make $5 million a year and he got to tackle his soul for the rest of his life. Jerry Stackhouse makes however much he makes as a college coach and he got to dunk on nobody for the rest of his life. Right. place you guys at HBCU campuses, bring back boxing, because boxing has never left college campuses. It's only left Black college campuses. So in the 1970s, when they deregulated it as an NCAA sport, it stayed on PWI's campuses as a club sport. So UCLA, USC, Penn State, Ohio State, University, UNC at Chapel Hill, all the military academies, it was always a thing. It's just such a big disconnect from amateur boxing to professional boxing that there was never a bridge gap there. And so we talked to the world champions, say, hey, look, let's match y'all up at these schools. And then what we can do from that standpoint is start producing boxing for our community to provide more scholarships. So now the conversation evolves from not only being able to curate our own world champion fighters under our covering as a league, but also every child isn't going to turn into the next prize fighting world champion or welterweight champion, but they can become the next engineer or the next architect or the next construction manager from our community based off the fact that boxing provided them a pathway to education. So that's really the bigger thing.
That's very powerful.
Yeah, in a space where there's online gambling, there's you can pay college athletes now. It is really the perfect time to bring boxing back to the forefront. And this is really unprecedented to have this amount of Hall of Fame talent untapped. And this is our community. And I don't want to even start saying the names, but when we started rolling out these names of boxing, there was not a person who told me no. One, they wanted to help the kids. And two, they were super excited about being able to do something boxing related for our community. So just the thought of them being able to come and be the head at FAMU, Grambling, Southern, and not to mention, and I ain't gonna get too much into it, but what we're presenting is team concept boxing. That's another angle that they really haven't seen from this space, because boxing is so individualized. It's based off of personalities. What we've brought to the table is a real HU boxing match, an Aggie Eagle boxing match, Bayou Classic boxing match. What we're letting them know is we got built-in rivalries already. If it was we would show up, for the right situation, and we all linked. More or less, what they've never seen is a Black college band play behind a boxing match. They're very intrigued with just the thought of that. And so for us, we are marrying the hip hop community with the HBCU community, with the professional boxing community, and we're doing something for ourselves that we can control for ourselves, and 100% want to figure out how we can involve every HBCU at the table. Because and I land my plane with this, and let you guys kind of engage in questions, but what we want to be able to also say is boxing can save girls softball, boxing can save boys baseball. When you look at these Power 5 conferences, if you look at what their football programs bring in and their basketball programs bring in, they justify the other 100 sports programs that the PWIs offer. Nobody showed up to gymnastics and the chess club and nothing else, but those are scholarships that they're giving their kids. And so for us, being as athletic as we are within our community, we can't afford to let no sports programs go. If anything, we should be boosting up our sports programs, boosting up our band programs, and giving all these auxiliary scholarships to our kids, because we know our kids are with the rhythm. Our kids are with the rhyme. Our kids are with the sports. Like, that's what our kids do. So there's no use in trying to take them outside of that when we understand that's a pathway that they understand. It keeps them disciplined. It shows them teamwork. It shows them how to deal with disappointment. It's everything that we can build their character up into doing. And so we're super excited about what we roll out. Sorry for being long-winded, but
I love it.
And super excited about what we got going on.
Yeah, that was amazing. JT, do you want to ask him anything? Because I could go on forever. So because he picked the right one. This one.
Oh yeah. I love your passion about it. Rose went to Howard. I went to Bowie State. I'm definitely familiar with North Carolina A&T. You said North Carolina Central, right?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, we definitely got a little rivalry. So definitely. So you said you're very passionate. When you looked at the underground boxing and you saw all those people come out, in that moment, how did you feel?
I felt and it's funny because I talked to my sister about the concept when I first brought it to her, and it was almost as if people came to me and said, "Why isn't this already a thing?" And I heard that so much when we initially got started. Like, why hasn't this always been a thing? That's that. You know what I'm saying? Because our community loves boxing to the highest extent.
Yes.
I also want to shout out my guys, Team Watson. They work with PBC over there in LA. They got a big fight coming up with Bud Crawford and Earl Spence.
Yeah.
So Team Watson is helping us roll out this league. So we're super excited with utilizing the professional boxing side to do this project because they know how to monetize boxing. That's the good thing about it. I'm not dealing with people on our side who don't know how to do boxing. The beauty of it is, and this is kind of crazy, right? Even within America, there is a segment amongst our community that hasn't been exposed to HBCUs, and mainly on the West Coast. And we have this conversation with them a lot because, of course, HBCUs don't extend that far out. So, really about how can we create these pipelines on the West Coast, in the Midwest, in the tri-state areas, where we could start sending kids to, West Backwoods, South Carolina, West Backwoods, Louisiana, away from their urban concrete environment to give them a time to grow and get outside of their space to extend. So when I saw the kids gather, bro, again, I took that and we carved the concept. And again, that's not even how I felt. That's just probably what I received the most. And that's probably what put my thoughts at when I'm like, okay, we probably got something pretty major on our hands when people heard it. I'm like, why isn't this already a thing?
Mm-hmm. Because you just automatically assume that, of course, this is already out there. So my question to you is, when did you become a fan of boxing? Like, is this always something that you've been a part of, or was it something like you had a moment of like, ooh, this is the sport?
Well, actually, boxing was my dad's favorite sport. And it was really the only sport he actually kept up with. My dad was so oblivious to basketball and football. Like he didn't know nothing, but he could keep up with fighters' names. And for him, when he was growing up, my grandfather, his house was the fight night house. So me growing up, our house was the fight night house. So I remember my older brothers mimicking the Roy Jones, James Toney fight when I'm like 4 or 5 years old. Like I remember them, doing like the whole little, and like I remember that. And so JT go back with that all the time on how far it's gone. But I remember the first fight when Tyson got out of jail, how big of a fight he fought. Can't think of the white guy's name, but I remember how big of a thing that was that night. And our house is 95, so I'm like 6, 7 years old at the time. And, it was just always that. It was always, and unfortunately I lost my father in 2003. But dealing with this sport definitely makes me feel closer to him. And from that standpoint, I know that he would be very proud for my associations with that. Like he was a big Evander Holyfield. Like I'll tell this last story about my dad, but I remember when Evander fought Mike Tyson the first time, and everybody in the house just knew Mike Tyson was about to win. A preacher, he was a pastor for 25 years, and Evander Holyfield came out to some gospel music. Oh, my dad lost it. It's over. It's Evander gonna win it, and Evander turned around and won that night too. Yep. It was like, that was crazy that you sit there. Yeah. But yeah, long story short, my dad is the reason why I love boxing so much. I actually grew up a basketball player, so I love boxing. But in regards to business, I take the ideology of being a point guard because that's who I always was growing up. So my thing is always having the best team. And, for me, my best friend was always the star player. I had the pleasure of being my best friend since kindergarten. He was the star player on all our teams growing up. So I always knew that my role was to get him the ball and score in position. And as long as I had the most assists and we got the win, that's all I cared about. Didn't care about the accolades, didn't care about being the best player. And so I think that working with the people at the team that we have now and understanding mutually beneficial situations is mutually beneficial for the HBCUs. It's mutually beneficial for the active professional boxing community. It's mutually beneficial for the retired boxing community. So it's mutually beneficial for the kids. So really get into a space where we think of things from a team aspect. How can the team win? And the team in this scenario is the HBCU community. How can we win? And I think the bigger conversation what Dion was saying is there's some things that we can do for ourselves. It's not that everything that we suffer from isn't true. And we can go down the list of everything that all the afflictions that affect us as a community. But what can we do for ourselves? And I think that's kind of where I stand at. And I'm thinking you cannot find the pageantry of HBCU culture anywhere but our community. Why can't we export that around the world, monetize that, and be able to take the spoils of that situation to improve our situation?
Right. No, that makes perfect sense. And I think just touching off of the Deion Sanders, concept and what he brought to Jackson State, even though he was there for a short time, just showed you the impacts of having somebody who was a star athlete as a coach, and how that kind of pushed the needle as far as that, that whole concept, like, hey man, eventually they can get enough funds to really be competing with those top schools and really getting the recruits, because that's really what it comes down to, the facilities and the talent there, But I feel like with boxing, there is a lower barrier as far as cost wise to compete on those levels. And that's the beautiful thing. That's why I love boxing. You'll see some of the like Kronk Gym, and it's gritty. They got rusty weights, and that don't matter. Like, they're producing champions. So I feel like you've tapped into something and using that same mindset, like, hey, we get Hall of Famers, and that will really give this program notoriety. And you're going to get like high level coaching from the guys who are the best in their profession. But my question to you is, so with the whole HBCU boxing league, are y'all only going to be, fighting other HBCUs, or will you, I guess, encompass PWIs as well?
No. So the concept is to raise the bar for all of college boxing, but for HBCUs to be the new Power 5. Yeah. So what we want is for us to dominate college boxing based on the fact of us marrying it to these Hall of Fame champions. So I want to call some names so bad.
I know. It's okay. It's coming soon. It's coming soon.
I'm telling you. And, especially, and okay, I'm not going to do it. I wasn't going to do it. I mean, this is what I would say. The only two people in boxing, this is what I will say. The only two people in boxing that we have not locked down just yet are Mike Tyson and Floyd Mayweather. That's what I would say. That's what I would say.
So that's already powerful right there.
Who I will shout out is my commissioner, Layman Brewster. I can shout out Layman. So our commissioner to our boxing league is former Hall of Fame world champion Layman Brewster. Layman was the heavyweight from 04 to 06. He knocked out the younger Klitschko brother for his heavyweight champion. And Layman was the top heavyweight from 92 to 96, and just an all-around good guy.
That Klitschko fight was crazy.
It was
crazy.
It was
Woo! He was throwing them bombs. My goodness.
Layman's also happily married too, so let me throw that out, but for a disclaimer too. So,
okay.
but Layman is also very connected in a lot of the Hollywood circles because he was married to Pam from Martin for a long time.
Okay.
Yeah, kind of.
That makes sense.
Yeah. So just in the sense of him being so resourceful, and people wouldn't even know that, and he has such a big heart, and you would like to deal with Layman and to think that he was like just a monster. You know what I'm saying? Like Layman, it's just like him on a day-to-day basis. It was just like Layman and I have talked every day for almost like the last 11 months getting this thing together. And every champion that he's put me in contact with is so excited to work with him, excited to come on board with him. I will say that he did get me on the phone with Layla Ali. I will say that. So the biggest I've been on the phone with thus far, and that was probably that was outside of everybody's introduced me to. I was probably the most babble-mouthed with her. I was starstruck. Yeah, definitely shout out to Layla Ali and her support for our boxing league, and to the extent of being able to reach out to her to let her know that we was going to have women involved, that we're going to have Bennett College and Spelman, and making sure that women are also integrated in what we have going on. So it's really an aspect of going to the professional boxing community, letting them know, say, hey, look, we still have this long-standing institution within our community that reaches generationally from little kids to the grandparents. Because all of my friends now got babies, and they bring all their babies to homecoming now. So I'm seeing that, this keeps going; it don't stop. And so for us, again, it's just opportunity to be self-sufficient. And I think more than anything else, I don't look for nobody to save us as a community. I don't expect nobody to come in and save us as a community. Nobody has shown us thus far that they have our best interest at heart as a community. And so with all of those context clues, I would rather us just get up and try to figure out what we can do for ourselves.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And I really like that you touched on women in boxing. So that's a very exciting news, because that's always been at the forefront for me, being a fan of boxing, and women getting into it a little bit later. So we're a little bit behind as far as like men's boxing. So giving girls and teenagers the opportunity to get into the sport earlier, that will definitely help women's boxing progress a little bit further. So that's amazing news. I can't wait for that.
Yeah.
I can't wait. JT, do you have anything else you want to ask him?
Yeah, so, and I like how you said that we're not depending on anybody else but ourselves, because I think sometimes we tend to forget that we are the culture. Like, shout out to Isaac Hayes. When you look on all the commercials, it's rap music.
Mm-hmm.
It's TikTok dances has been created by us. So I really like how you're projecting it. So how many? Now we looked up. It's a lot of HBCUs. Are you targeting specific HBCUs at first, or is it gonna?
So we will have 20 to roll out for the first season, and then we'll scale up from there.
Okay.
Every HBCU doesn't have the facilities to host an event.
Mm-hmm.
So the ones that do have the capacity are the ones we're going to start with first. And the concept is at each particular fight night, you'll have 4 schools represented. So
Nice.
what's going to happen, for example, who's in a DMV and we had a real HU fight, we'll possibly also have Maryland, Eastern Shore, and Coppin State come and participate as well.
Mm-hmm.
And so there'll be a small band blast going on in the midst of the situation. There'll be a Greek stroll off going on in the midst of the situation.
That's fire.
So what we're pitching to the TV networks, and I had a major conversation this morning, so y'all pray for us, because if this works out, it's going to be good for us. But what we're pitching to them is the pageantry of professional wrestling applied to what our situation is. So when you look at professional wrestling, my question is, what attracts us to something that we know is fake? But, we still enjoy the athleticism. We still enjoy the storylines. And more than anything else, the atmosphere, the pageantry of professional wrestling draws us back in. Well, we got all that in our league. We got the pageantry of HBCUs. We got the athleticism of amateur boxing. And these kids have amazing stories. We don't have to make their stories up. And that's been the good thing. We will actually be releasing our docuseries this summer. And the docuseries pretty much profiles the kids, the universities, and the world champions. And so we're just kind of telling the story of why this exists in regards to the first season, who's involved. And like I said, when people want to get the in-depth understanding of what's going on, we'll point them to season 1 while we're getting geared up to shoot season 2. But definitely talking to some big network television platforms right now to get some placement, because for us, and to you guys' point, where we're trying to separate ourselves as a league is, and I give you this quick analogy, when at North Carolina Central University, it would make no sense for us to ever go to Duke University. Let me take a step back. It would never make any sense for Duke University to come to North Carolina Central for a basketball or football game. They have a bigger platform. They have a bigger football stadium. Cameron Indoor Stadium is more prestigious, more TV, whatever the case may be. That would never be the case in boxing, especially the way that we're trying to present it right now. It would only make sense to do what we're trying to do on an HBCU campus, even if we're participating with a PWI. And so just being able to create that atmosphere around a boxing ring, I feel like is, again, applying to them. I said, think about an HBCU football environment, put that around a boxing match. You've never seen that before, and you can't do that.
Never.
So for us to be able to come in to a space where I feel like collegiate sports is in such a transition that our community can find our niche. And you're starting to see all of these young Black brothers and young Black sisters that are lawyers and attorneys and agents come in and start their little NIL firms. And, we trying to get hip. We trying to figure out how to move pieces, like where the money coming from. We're not NCAA regulated. So that's the thing that I love about what we got going on as a community. We open for business. So black brands, black black products, black whatever it is. For us, it's about how can we expose our people to our business and promote ourselves while also having productive working relationships with corporations who do want to support our cause. So our thing with other corporations is put your money where your mouth is. If you love our culture, if you say you love black folks, if you say put these kids on scholarship, help us get out come on tour with us, show us that you care more than anything else. But know that this train is going to leave the station whether you're on board or not.
Yeah.
Yep, that is true.
That. Yes, it is.
I love it. Timing is definitely everything. And I just listening to you speak, just going to HBCU, understanding the culture, knowing boxing, and just like my mind is like, I cannot wait. I cannot wait. I'll probably have to get a flight down to that first show just so I don't miss it because I know.
I got press passes for y'all. Y'all ain't never got to buy a ticket. Y'all let me know. I got press passes for y'all. Whenever y'all want to cover the fights, we got y'all.
I'm gonna hold you to it because I mean, a boxing fanatic I am, but I just know like the impact of this league. I feel like me personally is gonna change just the whole collegiate landscape as far as boxing is related. Like, how can it not? How can it not? But Prince, do you have any other questions? I don't want to take up too much more.
Nah, I just appreciate you guys having us, and I mean, since y'all love boxing, I'd love to come back with James Toney or Layman or That's really
that would be amazing.
Yeah, we can schedule that up, and that's going to be the next conversations because they're trying to introduce their legacy to HBCUs and try to figure out where the overlap is. A lot of them have long-standing endorsements, what I like to call the Deion Sanders effect. So, how do we apply that Deion Sanders effect to our universities? And so the first thing is introducing them to our media. And this is why I also want to support you guys however I can. Our media is so important. Our narrative is so important. That's why I need y'all to have press passes. I need y'all to come out. I want to support what we got going on before I support anything else anybody else got going on.
Exactly. And I definitely appreciate
that. I'll always get an interview before you, and I promise you that.
There we go. Because like we said, we are our own orators, man. We are the ones that control our stories. So that is very, very much appreciated. Where can people find you if they want to look into it further?
Officialhbcuboxing.com and find us on Instagram at officialhbcu. Send me an email. We're pretty timely. You can DM us. If there's parents out there that are interested in getting their kids involved, send me a DM. If there's businesses out there that want to get involved, send me a DM. We'll definitely be in Houston Labor Day weekend for the Prairie View Texas Southern football match. So the football game will be that Friday. The football game will be that Saturday. Our boxing match will be that Friday, the day before. So super excited. So love to be able to come back with the retired fighters over probably sometime this summer, revisit that and let you guys get a chance to hear from their perspective what we have going on.
All right. I can't wait. I'm excited for it. Definitely check out his Instagram page. I was going through all the stories, just listening to the kids, their passion. And I was like, I just kept scrolling. I was like, I got to get off this thing. I was like, I got to get off. So I'm very excited for that docuseries. So definitely, keep us in tune. Just let us know when that's ready to air because I'm excited for that. That concept is dope.
Appreciate y'all so much.
All
right. Well, thank you so much for coming on our show. You have a great evening.
All right. Thank you. Have a great one, man. Bless you.
All right. That was amazing.
That was phenomenal, guys. Listen, let me tell you something. You know what? This is the fair thing to say. And I'm going to be honest right now. We've had discussions, Rose.
Yes.
I have to watch boxing now. I have to get back into it.
You really do. And I get it. Like he was saying earlier with his father, the fights he was bringing up, very reminiscent of the 90s. And so there's always this whole thing about, man, boxing's so corrupt now. They're not making the fights happen. And I will agree to that. I will attest to that. But this year in boxing, I'm not going to lie, it's been amazing.
Yeah. I got to watch the Spence and Crawford fight. Spence, I like Earl Spence. I really like him.
I love Earl, but Bud's my guy. I'm
Yeah,
going Terrence Bud Crawford all the way. But
this
it's
is
gonna
gonna
be
be
a barn burner.
it's gonna be a good one. And then, um, actually, I did want to ask you this. I did want to ask you this. And I'm gonna put all. Okay, guys, I'm gonna put all of the information in the description, uh, where you can find him at. I believe I did before, but I'm gonna put his Instagram and all
Man,
the
put
information
everything.
so you can
Yeah,
definitely
everything.
contact
Because
Pratt.
that concept is crazy.
Listen, guys,
It's
five
amazing.
5 years from now, when he's blown up, he's coming back here. Just remember that. It's all
I
about
mean,
relationships.
hey, all I know is this.
That'll be
I did not when Coach Cap, when he directed me towards him, right? He's like, hey man, check out
Yeah,
this guy. He has the, official HBCU boxing. And when I spoke with Prince, first of all, this guy's operating at a high level, very
very
tapped
high
in, very
level.
in tune,
He is
very
tapped
articulate.
in.
I love it. I love it. Like
So
personality,
HBCU
everything.
education, Rose.
Yeah, educations. You see, he's in his
Yes,
PhD, right?
educations. Yeah.
So definitely tapped in. But when he explained the concept, first of all, I would have never thought that's where he was going.
Never thought
But
of
I
it.
was like, whoa. I could talk on it all day long because, like you said, why didn't anybody think of this concept? Like, it's boxing.
Yeah.
Like,
And
people don't
it's
like boxing, but people love boxing.
in
Like, people are
college, it would have
over
been
it, but
off the chain.
it's
Bro.
crazy. And let's think about this, right? For the most part, just like with football, we talk about it. Most of the kids are not making it to the NFL, right?
Nope.
Most of the fighters who are boxing, they're not making it as far as like a pro. They're not going to be a world champion.
Yeah.
But the scholarship aspect, that is pivotal. Like, that is necessary. And if you're able to provide an education for these kids, that's the most important thing. But I will say this.
Yeah.
It's the numbers thing. You're going to find a world champion out of the mix. Think about how
Easy.
how old Deontay Wilder was when he started. Frank Barton when he started.
Yes.
Regis Prograis when he started. They didn't start the typical 5, 6, 7, 8 like most of professional boxers start. They got a later start, but look what they were able to accomplish.
Like it's
Sugar
crazy.
Ray, like the list goes on and on.
It goes
people
on
who got a late start, but because boxing is that thing, and I talked to my brother about this. It's about accessibility. You can go to school. You'll find peewee football, baseball, basketball, and you'll find it all day long. Trying to find a gym with a reputable boxing coach, like they're scattered. It's very difficult. If you don't have that lineage where your father was a boxer or somebody is in the gym, he was a prolific coach or whatever the case is, a trainer, then it's going to be harder for you to get that start at 5, 6, or 7, when a lot of these fighters start. So that's always the thing. And being a boxing coach is a hard thing to pass down. This is something you really have to be tuned in and dialed into the world of boxing, because like they said, it is a sweet science. There's a science to boxing. It's not like it's a mentorship or anything like that. It's like you need to just stay in the gym. You need to focus on your craft, and you just gotta figure it out. Like my brother, he's a boxing coach. He's been studying the sweet science for over 2 decades now.
Yeah.
And he has a wealth of knowledge. So this stuff doesn't come overnight. It's very difficult. So the concept of matching Hall of Fame like boxing legends, that's hands down, that's success. That's it.
And I like the way he said that and I didn't think of it from this aspect, but it's a real thing, right? So because football and basketball are available, even though you have some people, they get scholarships, right? They don't make it to the NFL, but they're able to coach. They're able to go get a valuable education and then do other things in their careers. And I think that if boxing is accessible, I'm just thinking about Bowie State. If it had a boxing club, it would be packed. On a Friday night.
Want to watch boxing, somebody punching somebody else in the face. Come on now. That's just human nature. That's just human nature. We like to see that stuff, period.
Yes.
So it's great. If they had that at Howard, I would have definitely joined.
It's gonna be hot, man. It's gonna be crazy.
I would have joined the team. Like
Yeah.
that's it.
So,
There's no other way.
so let me ask you this: how did you develop the love for boxing?
Well, through my brother, really. My older brother Sam, who's a USA boxing coach. He works out around for round gym. I don't know if you can see my shirt right here.
Yeah, shout
So
out to Round
he,
for
yeah,
Round.
he works with kids of all ages, pros, young adults who are amateur trying to go pro, and just people who are just looking to use boxing as a fitness tool. Like they're not trying to compete or anything. But
Yeah,
boxing is that sport that will push you to the limits, man. It's
yeah,
grueling, right?
it's very
So
grueling. The
I
training
used
alone.
it's it doesn't make no sense, but I love it, right? So I got into boxing. Like I've always watched boxing, right? That was always a thing. Pay-per-view fights, big fights, they had it on TV as a family. We would watch it. But I kind of fell off of boxing for a little while. And then I saw what my brother was doing. He bought me my first pair of gloves. Like I have a picture, pink gloves. He bought them for me. He's like, Rose, these are some gloves. And he had just started, training and doing the mid work and stuff. And I was like, shit, well, if you're gonna train me, I'm gonna do it, like I don't know. I just felt like it was exciting. It was very interesting. So I started, man, what year was that? Whew, probably like 8 years ago. So it's probably been a little while. I can check on my Instagram, but that's neither here nor there. So that's when I started just like the fascination with boxing. I feel like it's been the last 4 years that
Yeah,
I any Saturday that there's a fight on, I don't care if it's the zone, I don't
it's
care if they're
done.
in London,
It's a wrap.
fight
It's a
starts at
wrap.
noon, I'm watching it. Like
Yep.
that it's a ritual because I'm consuming all things boxing.
Yeah.
And what's interesting is as far as women's boxing is concerned, you have a better chance as far as making it over in the UK, like getting fights made, because that's just where women boxing is kind of focused right now. Like
Yeah.
men's boxing, I think USA, we got it hands down.
Yeah.
UK kind of has, not saying that they have all the champions or anything like that, but you'll see a lot of women fighting over across the pond. So
Oh,
I'm
okay.
watching all things boxing. Like this weekend, Teofimo Lopez, Josh Taylor. I'm watching that fight. I'm
Yeah.
watching the fight. So that's my fascination, and I don't know, man. I love everything about it. I love that where I'm at. There's still so much to learn.
Yeah.
You understand? Like, and it's the little things you'll see fighters do, and just like, man, how do you do that?
Yeah.
Because people, natural reaction, you get punched in the face, you're discombobulated. You get hit in the stomach,
Yeah.
you're like, what the
Yeah.
hell? But these guys are
Yeah.
getting hit, and they just eat it, slip a punch, and then they're on the attack or on the deep. Like it's amazing. I love it. I love it more than
Yeah.
football.
Yeah. Like,
And I'm in
oh,
Texas, so you already
yeah.
know that
Yeah.
says
Texas
something.
is crazy in football, man.
We love football.
High school, college, NFL. I think it's a high school is
That shit starts off as
huge.
as a like peewee, bro. Like the
Yeah.
Tykes, bro. They start off real young. Like that's how serious we are about football out here.
Yeah. Yeah. But man, I am. This is like awesome that he is. This is just. It's. I think this is a concept of. We don't even know how big this is going to be, and we're
It's
like on the
gonna,
ground floor,
dude.
and it's just crazy.
It's going to change. When I say it's going to change the landscape, because as he's talking, my mind is just going
I
like
was like,
this. Like
"What? Oh my
this.
goodness!"
Even when I first spoke with him on the phone, just briefly, I mean, I could barely contain myself. After I got off the phone, that's all I could think about. Because I
Yes.
mean, I'm already into boxing, but like we always talk about, man, what do we do to restore HBCUs to their former glory and
Yeah.
actually go beyond that?
Yep.
To where we are bringing more notoriety to HBCUs. Because I talk to a lot of people who are black and they're like, damn, I really wish I went to HBCU. I didn't
Yep.
even know it was like that,
Yep.
right? I stumbled
Yep.
upon it just by happenstance. I was like, man, Howard's giving me the most money. Let me go to Howard. Best
Yep.
choice in my life.
A lot of people don't know.
And he touched on the cultural aspect. Like
Mhm.
it is an experience like no other.
You know what?
Period. You could try to explain it. You could see it here and there. You have to be in it. You have to submerge yourself. So for him to put together something where it don't even matter if you've been to HBCU or not, you can come to this boxing event and surround yourself with this culture. And think about this. So you didn't go to HBCU. You now went to a boxing event hosted by HBCU, the official HBCU boxing league, and now you're like, shit, my kid is going to HBCU. And not only that, damn, if he gets into boxing, this person, he might have a scholarship opportunity. So we have to save ourselves.
Yes,
we have to save ourselves.
Yes, we can.
First of all, I'm not even looking at anybody else to save us. For what? Because that don't even make sense.
Because it's just when
we're gonna owe them.
Yeah, when you start getting into that, you're looking for something. You're grabbing on to the Dave Chappelle bamboo and the salt. Let the salt go. You
right.
know what I'm saying?
Right.
Let the salt go. You know what I'm saying? Like we have this. We have enough. We are the culture.
Yes, we've been saying this, but we always complain about culture vultures and how other people are able to monetize off of our cadence, off of our style, our flavor, how we speak, just how we carry ourselves. Right? We see it all the time. Me. It's whatever. I don't have too much of an opinion on that. I let people be free to do their thing. The focus is, what are we doing? Yep. What are you doing to monetize off of our culture? Because other people are doing stuff. And are there barriers? There always will be. So what are you going to do about it? I'm not in the mood for complaining. Nope. Prince, he did something about it. Hey, let's so it's something to do.
We're doing something
Earn your leisure. They did something about it. Yes. You understand?
We're doing something about it. You know what I'm saying? So it's like,
and I'm sure there's a lot of people out there doing something about it, but there's no point in complaining. Nope. There's no point in pointing fingers. You just need to go out there, hustle, and do what's necessary.
That's it. Because
that's what they're doing.
Complaining is not gonna save you, man.
But that's always the conversation. What do we do to capitalize and be in control of our story, use our culture, because that's what everybody gravitates towards anyway, and make money to better our community and ourselves.
Exactly.
Because
we're not going nowhere. So why not just keep it here?
And I feel like this is a concept that can't even be replicated by a PWI if they tried. Okay, so you can't do it. You can't do it. And even if they started grabbing Hall of Famers, here and there, not the same. No. Because like he touched on, it's the pageantry. It's everything around it. The sorority and the fraternities doing their strolls. You understand what I'm saying? Like the band. First of all, the band's not touching none of the bands. None of it's happening. Homecoming, they're not touching that.
They're not touching that.
Because if they could, they would have. By now.
Listen, PWI homecomings, I'm gonna say it. They're whack.
Never been to one. Don't really have the desire.
They're whack.
They're not good.
Nah.
Damn.
I'm trying to think. Have I been to University of Maryland? I think I have. It's whack. They come to ours. Come to Bowie State.
I went to University of Maryland just for like partying and drinking. Went to like a little dive bar. Yeah, that's wild.
They be trying to drink it till they pass out.
To die, bro. I was like, hold on. The first party I went with some white boys, man, they were so cool, right? But they were like doing crazy shotguns. They had the funnel. I said, hold on, let's just take a breath and let's just calm down, bro, because I don't know what's happening. I came to sip, look cute. I want to get nice, but y'all trying to get fucked up. And I don't know. As a woman, nice. I gotta remember what's going on here. I gotta be aware and alert. Are you kidding me? I watch way too much Law and Order Special Victim Unit.
Yeah.
Hell no. Nah. My mama would be pissed. But no, it's different. It's different at those PWIs. When I stepped on Howard's campus for the first time, big ass cookout. They said, "Oh, drop your bags. Come across the yard," and they cooking out. I said, "Oh, I got a plate. Oh, I'll take a hamburger and a hot dog." What? Music playing, everything's just like, I'm like, okay, this is different.
This is different. Like,
and I'm here for it. I love it.
Yeah, like I'm just a random day. It's an event on a yard. That doesn't happen at PWIs. It doesn't. They don't. And so now think about this.
Think about this. It's weird, right? Somebody's like, why would I go to a homecoming at some random HBCU that I never attended?
What? You bet.
But some people will do like, I'm not going there, just a bunch of random people, but I'll go to a boxing match. I'll definitely go to a boxing event. You understand? And the strategic move of placing it around homecoming So people are going to already be out. Now people are like, damn,
Yeah.
this is what homecoming is. I mean,
Yep.
more money for the university, even
Yes.
if they do the event off campus, more money for the
It's more
university.
money
Because
in the
now, if
university.
I'm there, I'm like, well, shit, at work, what are y'all doing after? Hey, man, we going back on the yard and da-da-da. Like, okay, bet I'm there too. Because
Yep.
it's not like he said, it's not just people that go there, it's the alumni,
The alumni.
that come back. It's the kids. Like you
Alumni is
have
heavy.
different generations
Yes.
there, and you can always find something to do.
Look at
That's gonna be
look
fire.
at my nephew goes to Bowie State. This is a thing. You know what I'm saying? It's a thing in black culture. Like, yo, just if you're gonna go to college, go to HBCU. That's it. You're
And
gonna enjoy yourself.
right,
I promise you.
yeah.
You're
And the
gonna
thing
enjoy yourself.
is,
You're
me
gonna make
being
friends.
first, you will make friends.
Like,
You will make
we're
friends.
friends for
No,
life, yo.
yep, that is true. Because I have some friends, Morgan. I'm like, damn. I mean, you
Yeah.
06?
Yeah.
We're in 2023. Like,
Yeah.
friends for life. Like, it's
Life.
crazy. And me being Nigerian, right, and being first generation born here, I
Yeah.
don't have those roots that a lot of African Americans who were born here, like their
Yeah.
parents went to HBCUs.
Yeah.
But now I have kids. Oh, you're going to HBCU. You
Yeah.
understand? So now, even if you from West Africa or wherever, you're still a
Yeah.
part of the African diaspora. You're in America. You're black, essentially. You need to
Yeah.
put your kids into HBCU. So it further extends that reach
I didn't think
of
about
the
that.
it further extends the reach, and I think the importance of going to an HBCU because I didn't know anything about it.
Yeah, I have a lot of my fur brothers that are probably first generation that
Mm-hmm.
and their families, the first generation Africans that went to HBCU.
And
Wow.
my parents didn't know nothing about nothing. And you know what's funny? My mom went to TSU, but she didn't. She just went there because that was the cheapest. It wasn't a thing of
It
like,
wasn't a thing, yeah.
Rose, you gotta go. They wanted me to go to Harvard or
Yeah.
some like white school, and I'm just like, well, shit. How much are they giving me? You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
I'm smart, but I'm not a
It's-
genius. We don't have enough resources out here in A-Leaf. I can't compete. Like,
Yeah.
you know. And so when I went to Howard, I'm like, best choice of my life.
Yeah, man. I love HBCUs. I'm just happy that they're getting highlighted now, and I think this is the best time because
Like
it's
he
only
said,
girls.
timing is everything. Like Prince was touching on it. He was just like, man, look at what time we're at right now. First of all, with the whole Deion Sanders situation, that was very pivotal, right? Then
Yep.
the NIL also pivotal because everything's about monetization and money. And a lot of
Yep.
these students, and that was we already talked about that being a potential equalizer for
Yes.
students going to HBCU and still being able to make money, right?
Yep.
And now
Mhm.
like him being in contact with Hall of Famers and like everything's just kind of like coming together. We
Yeah.
have, social media. Like, so a lot of this stuff I don't think would have been as feasible had it been 10 years ago or something like that. Like he
Yeah.
was perfect for the job because he realized the opportunity and how everything was aligning. Like the stars were aligning for HBCU to start their own boxing league.
Yeah.
And I don't know if you watched it's called Fight Towns. It's a series on Showtime. The first episode premiered a couple of days ago with Steven
watch.
Jackson. Yeah, he came to Houston. So the first Fight Town is in Houston, Texas. So he was
They'll
interviewing
be
and
having
visiting.
everything going on down there.
We do, man, because it's a fight town, goddammit. This is a fight town. We fighters out here. You
And y'all got the
understand?
biggest Nigerian population too.
I was gonna say the biggest bus. Yeah, we do have the biggest Nigerian
I have the biggest
population out here.
I do.
So
Meg
he
Thee
interviewed.
Stallion. Okay, I got you.
We got things. We have a lot of things. Everything's bigger in Texas. Okay. But no, he interviewed the Charlo brothers, Regis Prograis,
Oh yes, I need to watch
Oshakwi.
that.
So he was
Charlo
like,
brothers are from Houston.
no, they're from Louisiana, I believe, but
Okay.
they moved to
They're
Houston
vicious.
very, very young. Same thing with Regis Prograis. Katrina, unfortunately, forced him to have to relocate.
Yeah.
No, shit is very, very sad. But also happy endings, man. The dude grinded out. But I say that to say, damn, where was I going with that? The Fight Towns. I can't even remember. But y'all need to check out. It'll come back to me. Y'all definitely need to check out That's what I wanted to say. He
Right
mentioned
now,
something about unions and how boxers, there's no unions. And I've talked to my brother about this. Like, even the Hall of Famers, they're not taken care of. You look
Yeah,
at
that's
NFL Hall of
crazy.
Famers, don't they get like what, 20K, 30K a month or something? And they got
Yeah, they get
health
a pension.
insurance.
If
They get a
you
pension.
play, you got to play. I think in the NFL 3 years, 3 years,
And then
you
Hall
get
of
a
Famers
pension.
get more money.
Yeah,
They
yeah,
get taken care of, right?
yeah. You get
And
a pension.
shit, boxers getting hit
OJ
up
still
inside
getting
their
a
head.
pension.
He killed
Yeah.
somebody.
I didn't even realize that. That's a good point. And then boxing is, we talked about how brutal it is. That's crazy to have
I mean, and you're getting hit in the cranium, right? So I think it was Jamal. I think he was the one that brought it up in that Fight Town. He was like, hey, we're not unionized. We don't have health insurance. There's nothing out here to help us with, like, you know, as far as getting us help, like mental health issues, because getting hit enough will affect your mental state. Look at Chris Benoit. This man ended up murdering his family and killing himself. And then when they did the autopsy, and he had severe CTE. So there needs to be a thing. These commissioners, these promoters, they're making, not saying that the fighters are making money, but these guys are making a lot of money without risking their lives in the ring. They need to put together something to take care of these fighters, because you'll see fighters homeless, down and out. You know, they're being laughed at online, like, damn, this guy was a former blah blah blah. Like, it's not cool. It's not okay.
It's not cool.
So,
damn, man,
this is something that's pivotal. Like, hey, man, these guys are unionized. There's no way that that there's plans for them giving back, because that's another thing to keep them, you know, mentally well.
Yeah,
you lose your purpose. If somebody's been fighting from the age of 7, 8 years old, and then this is their life. So what's the next transition? If you can't fight no more, and maybe you're not the best person on TV, you can't do commentary. You can teach somebody, and the impact of that is just, it's so profound, man. Like, when you start working with kids and you're able to really affect their lives and be like, man, you might never be a world champion, but I made sure that this affected your, you know, your discipline, you passed your class, you got good grades, you made it to college, you know, like, those things definitely matter.
Yes.
You got to have purpose in life.
You got to have purpose in life.
So
and then,
and
then it's huge, because they can come back and just like you said, teach. You know what I'm saying? Like, have purpose. And because they love it and they've been doing it for a long time, they're going to pour themselves into it.
What other questions did you want to ask me, boxing related? Who's my favorite fighter? I'm playing.
Okay, so that gives two questions. Who is your favorite fighter and why? And I'm going to ask you the second question.
Current fighter who's active right now, Terrence Bud Crawford. Like, if I can meet Terrence, I don't really need to meet him, but that would be like, if there was any fighter to meet, it would be him. And I think it's because, and I basically watch every televised fight, like any fight that I can get of Terrence Crawford, I watched it. Like, I went through his box rec in every fight that was televised. Like, I'm watching fights where he's on Top Ranked and they spelled his name wrong. They spelled his name completely wrong. I'm watching those fights. He's such a dog, man. Like,
he's a beast.
I don't know. He's a beast, and it's crazy that people just don't like him. I don't know why, but
he just seems like he's a chill guy.
He's a chill, down to earth, very real dude. But inside the ring, this dude's a controlled savage. Like, it's the stuff I want to see, and it's not just like he's a boxer, but man, my man, he can punch, and he has perfect placement with his punches, really good setup, great technique, high boxing IQ, and he's a dog. Like, I think for this Errol Spence fight, I think, you know, people have their opinions and nobody knows how the fight's going to go, but you cannot underestimate the strength and power of Terrence Crawford. Everybody's talking about Earl's strength and size, and, you know, he's going to impose his will. We will see.
I don't know. I think
this dude, Terrence used to be a wrestler, bro. Ask Andre Ward, ask anybody who actually, like, man, this guy's strong. Like, that's what they say. Like, don't underestimate this man. And in the welterweight division, he stopped everybody he's fought. Go really check his resume. Everybody's like, man, he hasn't fought anybody. Go really check Terrence Bud's resume through the different weight classes.
Oh, people say that. I heard people
disputed. At 140.
I heard he's good. You know, I need to watch that interview.
You
I'm
got
gonna
to see
watch
him.
it tomorrow. I'm gonna watch the $1 million worth of game interview with him.
You just need to watch. You need to watch one of his fights, man. Any one, like Breeders Prescott. That's a good fight. If you want to go watch that. They just put back on the Hank Lundy fight. You can go watch that. Crazy. Okay. Like the list goes on and on, man. Any fight you put on, you're gonna be like, whoa, this guy's really good, you know. So that's my favorite fighter right now. I think Shakur Stevenson's is definitely up there as well. And you see he gets a lot of sparring in with Terrence. Like he's I guess teaching him or helping him out. And also what's my man's name? Damn, it's slipping off my tongue. Davis. What's his name? It'll come back to me, but he's with Top Ranked as well. He's an up and coming fighter. He went to the Olympics. He was ranked number 1. I can't. Okay. It's crazy. I like his name just slipped my mind like that. But he's vicious too. He's an up and coming guy.
Okay, so let me ask you this, because you're really into boxing. You're technical into boxing.
Mm-hmm.
You look at it all the time.
You're Keyshawn Davis. Sorry, I had to get that out. It's Keyshawn Davis.
Keyshawn Davis. I've heard of him.
No, he's cold, man. He's really good.
Yeah,
but he be getting in work with Terrence too. So that guy's IQ is, hey. But yeah, continue. Sorry.
It's all good. Let me ask you this, because out of all the people I know, you know the most about boxing because your brother is actually a trainer and you're in it, and then your other brothers actually boxing. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
You're the only person that I know that does it. I mean, everybody talks about they know it, but you don't know it until you coach it or in it or, do it. I mean, you know it. So some people know it, right? But like, I'm talking about know it at a high level, right?
Right.
Yes. You know at a high level. You know what this is. You know how he punches, rolls, all that, right? So let me ask you this. What were your thoughts on the recent Devin Haney fight? Because a lot of people said that he lost, shouldn't have won.
That's going to be a forever. Yeah, that's going to be a forever controversial decision. Me personally, I had Devin Haney winning the fight live. Okay. Because I tell people, man, I want what was your scorecards rounds 1 through 8? How many rounds, did you give Lomachenko, right?
Yep.
And I will say this. I think that fight got a lot of buzz because they were interviewing fighters after the fight. And these are the fighters that watched it live.
Yeah.
And I'm watching it live. And as much as this fight was in Vegas, which is where Devin Haney resides, the crowd was all Loma. I ain't seen nobody cheering for Devin Haney when he was snapping this guy's head back. I didn't see nobody cheering for Devin Haney when he was like delivering vicious body blows. Yeah. It was crickets. As soon as Loma did a flurry, the crowd's going wild. So we have to understand there was an automatic baked-in bias, and I didn't think it was for Devin Haney. I personally thought it was for Loma because of the story, because of what's going on in the war, because of man, this is his redemption. He's going to become undisputed, right? So contrary to popular belief, it wasn't a robbery, because Devin Haney is in Las Vegas. If you're listening to the crowd, which judges have said they've been swayed by the crowd, they've been on record. Man, I was listening to the crowd. It was hard. Judges have said this. It's bananas. You're professional.
You got to keep the integrity.
You understand? So in my eyes, I feel like the fight was on a very high level that if you don't watch boxing enough, you're not going to pick up on the nuances. A lot of people can't even tell you the scoring criteria to even judge a round, because these are individual rounds, right? So everybody wants to bring up the 10th round. Everybody wants to bring up those 2 rounds where it was a noticeable, I guess, victory in those rounds for Lomachenko. I said, what about the other rounds? We scored this per round. That's how boxing is. They score a round, and that's it. And now their mind's clear, and it's on to the next round. It's compartmentalized. And the other thing I don't really like to look at is punch stats, because it's like a tale of two cities, man. Like, you can find punch stats to argue any point that you want. That doesn't tell the full picture. Because sometimes it'll be something like, damn, did he really only throw that many punches? Because when you're looking at the fight, this guy is controlling the pace of the
Just
fight.
control the
He's
pace,
in ring generalship, effective aggression. You understand? And those are the things that the punch stats can't show.
Yeah.
And that's just all it comes down to. So there are a lot of people, they didn't really watch the fight. Man, the punch stats say, go back and watch the fight, unbiased, have a scorecard, and start scoring, because 10-9 rounds. So do the 10-9 rounds. Start scoring. Start fucking actually scoring.
Yeah.
And then you could come back and tell me that this was a robbery. A lot of fighters and people that actually went back and rewatched it, damn, actually had Devin Haney win. Oh, damn, it was actually closer. So if it was such a close fight, how can it be a robbery? If it was such a close fight, then by definition, it could have went either way. A robbery is when the guy has clearly won, and then they still have him losing. Loma didn't clearly win.
Yeah.
Loma didn't clearly win. He had flurries in moments. That's a 3-minute round. I'm not going to give you the round for your 20-second flurries here and there. Yeah. That doesn't win you the round, dude.
Yeah.
And he was a sore loser. He wasn't a humble loser. He was a sore loser. Yeah. So screw all that. Devin Haney won, and at the end of the day, it doesn't matter what people think because he won.
Yeah. Hey, shout out to Devin Haney, because I think he wants to fight
Tank
or
Shakur. They have both, but it's interesting though, because even though Loma lost, they ranked Loma as like above Shakur Stevenson after he lost. Shakur should be number one WBC, so he could now challenge Devin Haney. Yeah. And I don't know what type of crazy stuff's going on, but Loma's number one. Loma don't want that smoke again.
Has Tank fought Loma?
No, because Loma would have another loss on his record.
I was about to say Tank is
Loma get his ass knocked the fuck out. I'm not gonna lie to you. Loma would get knocked out. And I love Devin Haney, but there were some things as far as his defense, and I don't know if it's because he was trying to. Sorry, excuse me. I don't know if it was a thing of he was trying to impose his will. I would have liked sharper boxing, which I've seen him do before. He went to Australia for George Kambosos one, and he literally beat this man with a jab. He kept him on the outside. I don't care about no clinching stats bullshit. He kept him on the outside. George Kambosos didn't do nothing to make sure he wasn't being held in the clinch or nothing like that. So that's his fault. But he effectively beat this man on the outside. And I think with his length and his size, he could have did the same with Loma. But he chose to really, inflict power shots, which those are the bigger shots. Yeah. My opinion. Jabs are great, but if we go back to the Loma fight, Loma was really jabbing. Devin was getting into his body. He was throwing power shots. I'm not trying to hear none of that. But I think Tank, if he touches Devin Haney, he's going night-night. And this is not indicative to, Devin having a pillow hands or a weak chin. I just think that Tank has knockout power.
That's interesting because I heard they sparred before.
Yeah, they've sparred.
At Floyd Mayweather.
Mm-hmm, they sparred. Damn, somebody just sneezed. A lot of those dudes, they sparred. Like sometimes you get footage that leaks, sometimes you won't. But yeah, they sparred before.
It wasn't leaked.
I know they talked about it. They talked about it. And Adrian Broner actually came on. Yeah, Adrian Broner came on. He's like, man, we day drinking or whatever was going on. They was partying, and then he came into the gym, and then I guess Devin was ready to spar. So he told a different story. But I said, hey.
Yeah, if you getting that, this is a big thing.
But I will say sparring's different than fighting, bro. Yeah. The sparring is different than an actual fight. Yeah. And I don't know how long ago that was, because I feel like
I think they were both really young. Yeah, I think they were both young. It'll be
I don't put stock in that. But I will say this: Devin Haney, unlike these other guys, he wants that smoke, man. He's never backed down from a fight. He don't care about winning and losing. Obviously, he believes in himself that he's going to win, and I think you need to respect that. And if you don't, I mean, just step off, because what else do you want him to do? Yeah. Like, look at what he's accomplished at his young age.
Yeah, he's going for the smoke. He's like, I want it. I was like,
he wants it.
Respect that, yeah.
He wants it.
I was.
He wants Shakur. He wants Tank. He said, I don't, it may be at 135, maybe at 140, because I see this man looking like Hollow Man trying to make weight at 135. Devin Haney, he makes it, but my man's be hollowed all the way out, bro. You can see his cheekbones looking like Thriller. He fights. They're all technically lightweight. They all fight at 135. But Tank, he's been doing those catch weights, fighting Mario Barrios, who technically right now he's a welterweight, so he'd be going up to like 140, fighting dudes up there. So it's wherever the money is.
Yeah.
I don't blame him, man. You got to secure that bag.
Yeah, because I know in boxing there's a difference between your fighting weight, your natural weight, and then what you go into the ring at, and what when you get weighed in.
Mm-hmm.
Before we get off, I want to ask you this one more question. When Ryan Garcia did the what clause was it? The dehydration clause. What is that?
It's rehydration.
Rehydration. What is that? Explain that to me. Because people were like, Ryan Garcia shouldn't have did that before he fought Tank, but I don't,
So a rehydration clause, which not a lot of fighters do it, but it has been done, right? You're pretty much telling the guy that you're fighting, hey, you weigh in at this weight. Say we're fighting at 135. Okay, they're fighting at 135. Typically, once you make weight, you can balloon up to whatever you want to.
Yeah.
That means that because a lot of times fighters are in shape. So what they're losing a lot of the time is water weight, so liquid weight, right? So they make weight, they start drinking. They'll eat a heavy meal and get their weight back. And they can gain pounds like that because, like I said, a lot of it's water weight. So Tank, he put a clause in there where Ryan was not able to rehydrate till like for 10 pounds. Like he's like, you can't go over like 145 or something like that. I can't remember the specifics, but a lot of people took exception to that. Like, oh, you're trying to make him weaker, X, Y, and Z. My thing is, why'd you agree to it?
He agreed to it. So that's what it is. Okay.
Yeah. Like, so sometimes if you're too dehydrated or too weight drained is what they call it. If you're too weight drained, then you can't. That does affect your performance because you're weaker. Yeah. That's why there's weight classes. But my thing is this: they're both fighting at 135. So you having issues making the weight that you say that you're at, you're officially listed as a lightweight, dude.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. So it's neither here nor there. And that rehydration clause also applied to Tank as well. It wasn't like Tank could balloon up to 150 and no, Ryan, you can only balloon up to 145. It was like, let's stay here. It was for both. Okay. Yeah, it was for both. So maybe it's time for Ryan to move up to 140. At the end of the day, he was exposed, and I don't think a rehydration clause is going to give this man the fundamentals necessary to be in there and the boxing IQ to be in there with somebody like a Tank. Davis, like you're just not like, look how you throw your hook, like everything, all you care about is speed and technique goes out the window. So now he's with Derek James and you see a still pose of him trying to teach him how to throw a jab. My nigga, we back to the basics because that's how bad it's be. Like they got to take you back to the basics. Yeah, it's necessary because Ryan has talent, but he's not fine-tuned. So him having that extra 5 pounds, the body shot would have still stopped him. Yep. He still would have got caught, dropped, and he still would have conceded at the end and not wanted to get back up because he knows if he got back up from that body shot, he would have got knocked the fuck out. Yep. Period.
And the thing is, when you get to a certain level, especially in boxing, in any sport, it matters, right? You're not beating Tank off technique. You're not beating Devin. You're not beating Shakur. They're technically sound.
Ryan's not beating none of those guys.
They're technical.
He's not beating any, and that's why he wanted the fight with Tanks. I do think that he felt like because he was so short, the size thing, he could beat him. He knows Devin's too big and long. He knows Shakur's way too technical. He's not beating no. When Devin's on his jab, that jab is spicy, bro. He has a very nice technical jab. Yeah. Stop. Let's stop.
But you gotta be careful with the height boxing because I've seen it doesn't matter sometimes. Doesn't matter.
Yeah. You seen was it Fundora and Mendoza? the tall dude that fights
Yeah.
at was it 154 he fights at? He got starched.
Yep. See?
He got knocked the fuck out.
See?
It was bad. He was just like, whoa, what just happened? Oof. I mean, I'm gonna share the clip. That clip was crazy.
Yeah,
was crazy. But dude's taller than everybody. You know, but still fights on the inside crazy, and he gets clipped by Mendoza.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Height sometimes don't matter, bro. It's your technique and your
It's
boxing
technique.
IQ.
So, all right, guys.
This has been the best episode
Yes.
as of yet. So, thank you all for tuning in. And
man.
you're going to be able to catch this episode on all streaming platforms,
Streaming
as far
platforms,
as podcasts, where you
Apple,
get your podcast. There you go.
Spotify,
and the rest
Google,
don't matter. So, you know.
iHeartRadio.
I'm playing.
Anywhere, guys. Anywhere. All right, man.
If you don't have an iPhone, I don't know what you're doing. I'm playing. My brother got an Android.
All right, guys. Peace.
Bye.